Okay, welcome to today's bi-weekly dev meeting for the cert-manager project. We're on October 2nd, 2025, and I'm not on the right page there. I guess I need to talk about the code of conduct. We abide by the CNCF code of conduct, which is the same as the CNCF one. So be nice. This meeting is recorded and published to YouTube. So if you don't want to be recorded, please turn off your camera. And today we have, my announcement is that we can start with the announcements. I think the biggest announcement is the 1.19 release coming. So I'm going to let Richard talk.
Right. We are releasing cert-manager 1.19 next Tuesday, according to the schedule. And this week, well, today I did an alpha release. Tomorrow, having merged a couple of other PRs, I might do a beta release. And then hopefully on Tuesday, I'll be able to quickly do a final 1.19.0 release.
Thank you.
Keep your eyes peeled for the release announcement, which will be. We'll send an email to the usual place, and we'll ping people in Slack.
Any other announcement other than the 1.19 release? Yeah, okay. I'll mention what I talked about just before the recording. A person from the CNCF. I was asking for another way, like whether they have a Google Drive, paid Google Drive, or whatever, so that we can unblock ourselves with this bi-weekly meeting document that we have and that keeps being blocked because it is tied to a Google account that is a Google workspace that often isn't paid for. So for now, and I think we won't be changing the meeting notes document. We will keep this one. But they talked about a tool it's called nodes.cncf.io, which is a copy of HackMD. HackMD is an open source project. So they talked about this, and I said, no, we're going to stick to Google document. But they also talked about all the other tools, and the one that really that I really liked was the fact that they offer this managed Zoom, calendar, YouTube integration. And that's what we're using today, which means that I no longer have to use the main mysterious maintainers accounts. We can all host using there's a management console that you'll all be able to go to, and as a host you can go there and you can click on host key, and that will give you a code that you can use to become a host in Zoom. So in case we need to do any admin, it will work. And it's pretty cool because it integrates with the AI summary and it sends the right things to the right place. The only struggle is that it means we need to use their own mailing list, at least for the meetings. And I guess that's what I not really in agreement with the CNCF when they said you need to migrate everybody. We have two mailing lists currently. We have the maintainers, and I created one called CNCF cert-manager dev, and this one mimics the one we already have in Google, but it doesn't have anyone in it. So I don't know what you think. What I wanted today, specifically today, I wanted to try the new Zoom system so that I don't need to care about the recording. We can talk later about what to do with the mailing list, whether we use it, whether we, I don't know. I can ask them to figure a way. They they're here to help us, not to force us into doing things that we don't want. Go away. So going back, that's it. If you want to share the meeting to other people, you can use this link. This is the new calendar. It's not using Google anymore. It if you will open the event, you'll see a register button. People can click on it and they can self-register to the meeting without being on the mailing list. So you can that is a very cool feature, by the way, this register thing. Okay, I'm done, and we can move on to
This
the.
looks really nice, Smile. Thanks a lot.
I didn't do anything. The CNCF did. It's
Yeah,
just
but
crazy how much effort they do into like look at this. They even have a statement about being recorded to YouTube and everything. It is the kind of thing I would have never done.
Look what they did to our logo, though.
Yeah. I've already opened the ticket. It's a very minor class bug.
Yeah, it's just hilarious.
Star Wars music in the background. And then our names scrolling. That'd be really cool.
Oh, if they've not, when we do access for the spits, can we ask for the Konami code to do that?
Mm.
Um, uh, yeah, I like that. It's fine. It's I mean, as long as people can join the Zoom call, I don't care. It gives a nice way to get the host, which previously, like, it was a case of go to get a password, send an email, then wait an hour for the email to show up before you could get the code to log in. It was not ideal.
Yeah, but by the way, I do need to get the host key right now because I need to stop the recording when we're done so that we can talk about other things.
Um, regarding the mailing list, I'm not against using the CNC one. I have questions like the current one. Is it a paid service or is Google Groups free? Um,
Oh, it's a free one.
okay. So there's not like any monetary value in moving over.
No, there's no value at all, actually.
Yeah.
That's where it's problematic for me.
would it
There's
be
There's a lot of
possible?
zero
Would,
reason to migrate.
would it be possible to migrate the subscribers to the other list into this new list?
Oh yeah, it's possible to. I could. There is sorry, not this, but there is a way to add uh the execs. Actually, I'm not going to do it. The CNCF proposed to do it. They said we can gather the list and so on. And I said, oh great, you can migrate.
Yeah. I don't know if I see the like. I haven't used the mailing list that much, to be honest. What we spend up, we when we do a release, we do it, and then we've got the one for security, and then I get an email if someone goes to the mailing list. But I don't think we rarely ever have anyone sending us questions there.
There used to be some questions.
But
We
it seems
route
like a
most of
lot
the
of effort.
questions to Slack nowadays, so I would expect them to be few emails there.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of effort, and we lose a lot of history.
Yeah, exactly. The history will not be migrated.
There doesn't seem to
But
be any
at the
point.
same time, it won't be lost because it's a public Google group.
Yeah, I'm yet to be sold the benefits. If they come around with like here's this awesome feature that it does for you, like uh, you can
Yeah,
you can
I'll keep
blast out
asking.
a message using an API as part of your release process. I don't know, something that'll make our lives easier. It's a lot of effort to migrate for no benefit currently.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said, Rian. But I'll continue the discussion with them, asking if there is a better way. Okay, we can move on to the next item. I'll share my screen again. I was copying a password, so didn't want these to leak.
The password is password 1.
Yes. That's why I have one password. It's just to put the same password everywhere. Okay, next point. Discussion about certificate renewal. Hammonds said you want
I
to
think
what?
since Eric's here, we can do it because he raised the PR. He might have.
I could say a few words about it. It was more like it was someone creating a PR to do something which I thought was bizarre, to add some annotation with some strange things. So I said, if you want to add something in this direction, we would need a design for it. And then the guy responded that I was not very helpful. And then I asked ChatGPT to create a design for me. So this is 100% generated by ChatGPT. But I actually thought it was quite spot on. I mean, it probably has a few flaws inside it. And I think Herman is in the same opinion. Uh, so if someone wants to work on this, I would be happy to review PRs. But someone would have to pick up the design first to kind of finalize it.
I like the idea of having a renew policy section makes sense. Just like have lots of individual fields within spec.
Mhm.
And then the only thing is, yeah, I did comments with the link to no balls because you shouldn't have balls in your spec. But yeah,
Yeah.
the ability to say don't renew it, which would there is valid use cases I think here for like if you're running a CA, you don't want it to renew it, you want it just to expire and die, and you should either spin up a new CA or renew it manually. Because the worst thing that can happen is it by default renews like 2/3 of the way through. That means 2/3 of the way through, the secret containing your CA has just gone, and that's bad. So I think there are valid reasons to want to turn it off. I think there's never a use case that I think this should disable the ability for a manual renewal via the CLI. Um, I think that's always a valid option because that's a manual intent. Um, and yeah, I think that the option to do renewal windows also makes sense where you can say, yeah, please don't renew a cert on like lunchtime Sunday. I'll be very, very sad.
Yeah. We actually have noticed a few use cases in our company as well, because most of our users are using Java, and it means that their applications need to restart whenever the certificate is renewed. So at least two users had asked me, can we make the renewal happen on weekdays between, let's say, 8 and 4, so we know that someone are here in case something goes wrong with the restart.
Oh, it ties really well with this automatic restart of pods when the secret is changed.
Yeah,
I don't know the name of this, but
reloader.
Reloader.
yeah, Reloader.
Yeah, we use it a lot.
Would work really well with Reloader.
Yeah, we use reloader, but the problem is whenever cert-manager renews the certificate, even if it's 3 a.m. in the middle of the night, it will restart.
Yeah, which is a problem. Yeah. So
Yeah.
this would fix it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I suppose technically your restart doesn't need to happen immediately. The certificate is still valid for another third of its lifetime. But
Yeah, but Reloader doesn't know that. It
yeah,
just has a hash of the secret. So the hash is changed. Okay, then we update it.
And adding the logic to Reloader, I guess, would be a
oh
hassle.
no, yeah, Reloader shouldn't have to care about the
No,
context of the secret. That seems insane. I think
no.
it's better for us, yeah, to issue like the only thing is making sure that there's not a scenario where the only valid window is past the expiry or something, because that
Yeah.
would be bad. But I don't see how that's possible if you provide if you say you must provide like a cron tab where at least once a week it's got a slot. Unless you've got a cert with a 24-hour TTL, like you should be fine.
I want to hear what Richard has to say to this.
Um, yeah. I think it's. I remember a conversation at KubeCon about this sort of scheduling and windows of renewal policy type stuff. It sounds good, but I kind of complicated. Is we so the person who just wanted it just want the person who brought this up just wanted a quick thing to turn off certificate renewal.
Yeah.
Potentially, there's
Um,
two separate problems here, like, but would still fit under the renew policy like spec, but it does sound like two separate problems that could be solved. I interrupted you, Richard. Carry on.
no, that I was thinking. I mean I think that's maybe what I was getting at. What I was thinking about how in the past, it's not maybe not with cert-manager, right? And maybe I've seen this elsewhere, like an annotation you can add to any resource just to prevent it from being reconciled. Like just do not reconcile. It's a bit of an implementation detail, but I'm sure I've wanted that, and I can't remember the reasons.
I mean,
Yeah,
Flux CD has it for sure, and I think Argo must have the same.
Yeah.
yeah. For solid objects, I always prefer, even for preventing reconciles, always prefer like a solid field over annotation. Um, I've started in CRDs I develop internally here. I've started adding a life cycle block to like the spec life cycle, and then I've got reconcile, and one of the states of that is paused. Then I've got like a separate option for delete with options of orphan, um, orphan, block, and default. And block uses the new validating policy thing to block the actual deletion of things where that's at. So you can do a lot of cool stuff like that. But for like pausing reconciliation, they always throw a solid field that you can kubectl explain rather than like hidden
Hmm.
magic annotation. And it makes sense if you're doing other resources, say reconciling an ingress, we could have an annotation that the ingress controllers accept to say, don't reconcile this for a bit if we wanted to. But on the actual certificate objects, that would propagate down in my mind to a field on the certificate object.
Yeah. Have we like is there something about vaguely in my memory the idea of having two cert managers installed and using some sort of way to tell this cert manager, these are the objects you reconcile, those are the objects you reconcile.
I went to
Sharding?
I went to a talk at KubeCon which talked about this very concept. It was like about uh, distributing load for like when you've got hundreds of thousands of objects. And they had one operator, it was a meta operator, and all it did was look at all the objects and assign a label with a shard number.
Mm.
And then you ran a set of your proper operator, like cert-manager, and in their first thing they do on reconcile is go, is this assigned to me? If not, ignore it.
Mm. Okay, well,
It's like a load balancer for controllers.
Yeah, well, the idea being is you can do that in the controller, but you can also do that one level higher in your watcher and say, actually, I'm not even going to store that data in memory.
because labels can be part of your
Watch.
API query, can't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an interesting talk. I mean, I've had operators handle 100,000 objects, and I've never had the need to do that yet. But
I
Well,
think
that's going off topic, but I suppose if we like such a thing could have been used by this person, they could have said shard, give a shard, add a shard annotation or a field or whatever we do, and it would be a non-existent, and it would be a non-existent shard ID, which no cert manager would reconcile.
Wow.
in general, the consensus is probably, yeah, these options, both the pause, both the reconcile, disabled slash don't renew option, and the window, so both seem like okay features.
yeah.
Um, obviously the only thing that stuck out to me in the design, obviously the fact it's obviously written by AI, but the only thing that really stuck out in the content was the API design, which probably do some love, like having days of week as full strings and things like that.
Yeah.
There's probably a better way to do that, but other than that, the actual concept of having like a reconcile policy section that has like please don't renew or please only renew within these windows, that makes sense.
Yeah, the design needs more work. Both the Boolean, which is an empty pattern, and also the days of week. We should look around to see if we can find some prior art in
I mean,
API design
does
in this area.
crontab? I think crontab supports range. Does crontab supports ranges, right? Crontab ranges.
I feel like I was seeing certbot, which does the renewal. It also has support for cron. So I was thinking we could take some intuition from certbot, CLI.
Oh, it has windows, cron tab windows, or I don't know how you call them.
If you set crontab windows, we're going to be setting up cron jobs on Windows Server.
Yeah. But it
Sorry.
seems like you're free to pick up this, Hemant, if you want to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Next one, creating a new repo for Vault Issuer. Oh, there is a new Vault Issuer?
I think we need to talk a bit more about this. I saw some of the things. I still don't have a clear picture on how we're planning to move these in-tree issuers out of tree.
So Adam, actually, actually, Adam, if you want, yeah.
No, it's your show. It's your show. You can talk about it.
Yeah, so basically, there were some changes required in issuer lib to make sure that we could watch cert-manager issuers and cluster issuers. And Adam came up with a PR, and I kind of modified it, even though I couldn't push it, which is a different thing, which will basically make sure that we can consume issuer lib to check for cluster issuers and issuers. Since cluster issuers and issuers already have like the issuer config of Vault. So that way, nothing changes in terms of config when we migrate the Vault issuer. For testing, we will disable the cert-manager Vault controller, like whatever issuer for Vault, and then test it using the new repo. And then when we deploy it, we are thinking we'll deploy the Vault issuer by default along with cert-manager until people get used to the pattern, and then we probably could disable it. Is what we are thinking.
Yeah, for context, we already have, as part of the controllers flag in cert-manager, you could disable the controllers for every single issue we support. So you can disable self-signed, you can disable Vault, you can disable all of them individually as well. So we already have a mechanism to turn off the Vault issuer that's internal to cert-manager. So the bulk of and given that we don't want to introduce a new CRD, we want like the people's config to stay the same. It's just a case of building the issuer up using issuer lib that has the literally copy pasted code from cert-manager into the external one. Validating it works correctly. We probably want to have end-to-end tests around the migration. And then yeah, we can have it in dark mode for a bit where we're using the internal one, but we can like have an option in the Helm chart to deploy it as external, and then we can like flip that default but still offer the internal one if people want, and then we can like phase out the internal one.
But wouldn't it be kind of a circle of dependency? Because if you introduce a dependency from issuer lib to cert-manager to get the goal types for issuer and cluster issuer.
It already has a dependency because it already watches for certificate requests.
Okay.
But also, I believe we have a separate Go. Do we have a separate Go mod file just for the API anyway?
Yeah, we do.
So
Even
already a very shallow dependency.
But then when we are releasing this non-breaking, we would need to have some kind of knowledge in cert-manager about this new project in the Helm chart, probably.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it would be the Helm chart. So the idea to be non-breaking would be the current Helm chart would also deploy the external ones. We'd probably put some logic in there to, like, for every external one we write and get into the Helm chart, we have some logic in there to, with a single config value, enable the external one and disable the controller internally. So it's like a flip over. And then once we're happy and it all works for our tests seamlessly, that's when we can talk about doing the actual cutover and making that a default for users with a blog
But, but
post, an announcement, and stuff like that.
but how do we, for example, how do we release these things? Because it's kind of a circular dependency. If you look at the releases, first you have to release cert-manager, then you need to pick up the new release in issuer-lib, then you need to release issuer-lib, and then can release the vault issuer, and then you have to release cert-manager again.
Oh, you talk about the API definition. So you want to change the API definitions for cluster issuer and issuer, because that's the only case you'd have to update, like, because those are the only things that need to be brought into issuer.
Yeah, I understand that. That's when the only cases where we have to do it. But to me, it's a bit bizarre that this vault issue will always lag one release behind the thing that is actually released with. If you understand what I mean.
I mean, it'll probably lag more behind if it has no feature added to it. As long as the API is compatible, I don't really care.
Yeah.
Yeah, there won't be a release of the Vault external issuer every time there is a cert-manager release. It'll have its
No.
own release
And
schedule.
for clarity, you have the Verify one, which is built on issuer lib. There is the AWS external issuer, does use issuer lib, but still imports cert-manager for its types. These are external projects and have dependencies on the API, but don't have the same release cadence. Like, the release cadence wouldn't necessarily be tied to cert-manager. Like,
I see. The interesting thing is that for a while we will include these issuers that used to be in tree. We will include them in the Helm chart of cert-manager.
yeah, and I'm not
Yeah.
opposed to having that as a either long term, or even maybe we create a meta Helm chart which lets you deploy the cert-manager stack.
Yeah.
You know, like how you got the Prometheus stack Helm, which is I have disagreements with, but has its
That would
use.
be cool. We could include Trust Manager as well if we put all the Helm charts somewhere else, just taken out of our projects. That would be super cool.
Yeah, and we could just use chart dependencies to have them all. Just
Yeah.
we have to make globals work a lot better in our charts, but yeah.
Cert Manager Stack. That's a cool name.
Yeah. But yeah, that the general migration plan would be to, like, it would be deployed by the Helm chart. Like, for users, the only action required would be ensuring that whatever repository proxy they're using also picks up the new image.
Yeah.
I guess we can move on to the next one. I will have to go in a few minutes. Sorry, I forgot about that. Who can be the host once I'm gone? I choose Richard.
Should we just cut it? Should we just limit the time? When you go, we close the meeting because I've kind of got
okay.
to go as well.
Yeah, okay.
You're on.
That's 2 items. What's the most important? Hammond, do you want to talk about this one? Delegated zone?
Yeah. So this was a weird issue that came up, and I started looking into it. And the issue is basically there's a CNAME record in the root zone, which basically points to a zone that has API access, which is a lower environment zone, I guess. And cert manager basically has to look at the CNAME and insert a record in the other zone instead of the root zone.
Yeah.
And the code looks fine to me. I actually, wrote tests for it. There's already tests for it, and all of it is passing. But somehow the controller is making a decision not to use the CNAME, and it's trying to insert the record of the root zone in the zone it has access to. So if you, I actually asked him logs of the controller too, and thankfully he did post it, but it doesn't have anything that allows us to debug. So I don't know what could be wrong here.
Yeah, that's
So
tricky if we cannot reproduce this.
Mhm.
I know I've looked at this, the CNAME following or
yeah, CNAME
CNAME
follow.
recursive, whatever. And I the trickiest part is to reproduce it.
Yeah. So I thought that the zone could be private, but then he confirmed that the zone itself is public. It's not private.
But you,
So
do you know if the logging of cert-manager could show us the decision it made, like walking up the tree? I guess that would be my next question.
If
Can we ask cert-manager to
if we
to,
can't reproduce, that might be the next best thing, is throw a quick like feature branch that has a whole bunch of logs, build a quick version, throw an image their way and go, like, can you
Yeah.
run this code I'm emailing to you? I definitely want to know your bank details and then send me the logs.
That could be useful to add on a more permanent basis on a log level, which is not enabled by default.
Yeah. Maybe we should add modular logs so we can enable verbose logging just in this section.
Mhm.
But
Okay.
But yeah, we should definitely, if we can't reproduce, and that should be the first thing we could try, like reproduce it. And if
And
we can't reproduce it at all, then yeah, log more logs, and then
Richard will tell you that the logging is already modular, thanks to Klog, right? You can select a particular module to turn
Right.
on or off logging, so it wouldn't be a problem to add some traces in this or walking up. Yeah, the DNS algorithm that we have is so tricky that it would be super cool to have some traces, some logs.
have we
Mhm.
tried asking ChatGPT where the issue in the code is?
Yeah, and ask the log also like do this.
Like put the
Go-
That button, code with
Go
an
to this
agent.
button and fix the bug.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually tried that, and it just told the same thing that was already in the code. So it said that I'm sure that these things are present and it's already present. So yeah, it didn't help
Yeah.
out.
But he states he hasn't checked whether it's private himself. I saw that his SRE said that it was public. That makes me a bit suspicious, as always.
But if it was private, what like cert-manager would fail because it's trying to it follows the CNAME and then it would fail if this other DNS.
So I don't think it's following the CNAME, because if it did follow, then it should go to the CNAME record, right?
Yeah.
Instead, it's not going to the CNAME record. Like it's trying to insert Acme Challenge dot test dot example.com
Okay.
instead of Acme Challenge dot let's encrypt dot example.com,
I've
which
seen
is
this problem already in the past. I remember discussing this already. Acme follow
I feel like there's another issue about Route 53 with C names. I would probably, as a feeling, I might search for that.
Aren't you an expert on Route 53, Richard? But you're an expert on everything, so.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it here and now though. I think this is so complicated we can't
Yeah.
figure
was
it out here.
we had a bug here on external DNS, which if you have a root zone that is a subdomain, it would create the zone as a root in the correct place, but the text record it will try and create in like the wrong place. It will create one level higher, which it didn't have permission to do, and it would just fail. So,
Oh, it's so tricky this.
yeah.
Whew.
shall we? Yeah, we've agreed. Probably want to throw some logs in place. That's probably that topic. Speed run. Next topic.
Yeah.
Copilot.
I'm gonna be quick. I need someone to spar with on the graduating the server side apply feature gate.
Is that what
Uh,
Richard said he would do? No, you said,
I-
Richard, whether it would be possible to merge this.
I did. Because I had a memory of us meeting this in the last couple of weeks, and we looked at a PR where it was just a one-line change, turning it from alpha to beta or enabled to disabled to enabled, but that wasn't the PR.
That
I don't
was
know
my
what that.
Yeah, it
PR.
was like,
that
look,
was
look,
Adam's PR.
So I regretted. I thought, oh, here's an easy one, but it
but
wasn't.
why isn't it easy? Sorry, I said this.
I suggest that we could just disable server-side apply for our unit tests, and then figure it out as we in future PRs.
Yeah, I mean
Oh, you mean the testing is what is blocking?
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
Probably
just
yes.
let's do it.
Our current testing strategy is very much mock driven, where we use reactors to like test every single thing exactly. But obviously that doesn't work when you switch to SSA. We'd have to rewrite a whole bunch of logic. I mean, I'm very tempted to check out this branch, point Claude Code at it, and see what it makes of it.
Yeah, I have already cheated in this PR because I have changed the test framework so it assumes a patch and an apply is the same. So
Yeah, that all that reactor stuff.
Yeah.
I never really understood it.
me
I
neither.
feel like it could be thrown out. We could enable server-side apply and write a whole better suite of tests if we
Yeah.
And it's really painful to work with as well because whenever a test is failing, you get it just says a wall of text is not equal to another wall of text.
Yeah.
I think we'll talk about this in the stand-up where there's two styles of testing. There's the exact mock everything, assert the function was called style testing, which we currently have for these unit tests. And there's also was the result correct style unit tests. And like now that the client, the fake client supports server-side apply, like just asserting the result is correct is probably enough. We don't have to worry about how it got there. Like it could be an update, it could be apply, but as long as it got there, the test would pass for both cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Sorry, I'm not an expert, so I'll.
I'll lend you my books on testing.
I'm usually
And on SSA also.
Yeah, I'm usually more fond of the more BDD type of test where you do something and then you expect the result of what you did. But we had discussions around this before. I responded on your proposal, Richard, to disable server-side apply. I think it's a bit scary because, I mean, we've been using server-side apply for a long time and it's working very nicely for our stuff, but we're not using the full range of cert-manager. And I think Tim has also said that there might be something hiding in the corners which is not working as it should with server-side apply. At least when you look at the details, like the status updates could be a complicated area which you normally don't care for, but could be important in other cases. And while the end-to-end tests are succeeding now, I don't think the test coverage in the end-to-end tests is as good as it is in the more unit integration tests we have.
Yeah, maybe. People will have a way of turning it off if it doesn't work for them.
What I would prefer was to maybe try to split out some pre-PRs to change some of this test strategy, which kind of will eliminate the problem. But that will be a massive work.
I think with server-side apply, the test should. I don't even see the need for a fake API or an API server. It's just like, does this reconcile function produce the expected patch? then we hope that server-side apply works and we apply the patch.
Yeah, but that is the way we're testing right now, and it's asserting the patch is not as simple as you think. There are different actions, different verbs, different settings, and now you have the managed fields that adds to the equation, which makes it complicated. And with server-side apply, you just send your the state that you want to have, while now we patch with what we had plus the changes we did. So it's kind of complicated.
I have got a sense of deja vu. I've said that before, and you've said that before. So I'm
Yeah,
curious.
I have the same deja vu, and that's why that's what makes this even more complicated, because I think both you and Tim has a different view on things than me, at least. So we have to try to find a compromise here.
Okay.
Okay. I think we're at the end of the meeting. And I need to leave.
Cool.
So Adam will remind me to say subscribe and thumbs up, right?
Like, subscribe.
And no, sorry, like and subscribe, please. Yeah,
Stay
I
tuned
think
for
the
our
last meeting
Patreon.
has 3 views, so I think it works, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Great.
Great.
We'll do a subscriber giveaway at some point.
See you tomorrow, I think.